Hi everyone, I'm Roy Holman, and I'm going to do something either brave or stupid with all this polarity going on. I'm going to give a little election guide and certainly not tell people who I think you should vote for, but I'll just give you my thoughts on it, what I'm up to. I saw a cartoon this morning. It had a bunch of sheep voting, and the two candidates were a wolf and a lion. In other words, you're going to get eaten either way. So I totally get it. Those who don't vote at all, some people feel why vote into, why participate in a very weird, corrupt system. And I totally respect that. I am voting. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I feel very paradoxical about this vote that in a sense it's sort of the biggest. I think it is historically the biggest vote we've ever had. But I think more importantly is that we vote for shift. Whoever, if we choose to vote for a candidate, regardless of who we vote for, that we vote for shift, that we're going to, that we the people are going to change this world, and it is changing. It's more of an energy vote maybe. Let's see what I want to talk about. There's been so much, both politicians I feel I've heard lies from, and sometimes the way it's validated or the excuse is that they have to lie almost now, especially with the mainstream media being less than honest itself. So people are getting different information, so it gets really distorted. So it's very hard to say this person is this way on one issue because there's two sides of it, what they're saying, what they're actually going to do. It gets very complex. It's also not a Republican versus Democrat thing. This deep state uses anybody and everyone, whoever they can compromise, and we're going to see, I believe, many arrests in both the Republican and Democrat arenas. But because Trump is not cooperating with the cabal, we'll talk more about that, they are compromising more the Democrats right now, I would argue, it seems. So with that in mind, let's jump in and see what we say here. Oh, I just want to say one more thing. I think this may be the last election ever of this sort. I think with the shift, this type of dualistic, polarized, crazy electoral system, not just we, but the world kind of has, I think it's on its way out. So I think there's some good things, and let's co-create that. We are creating this. We forget that. So let me just say a little bit about each candidate, my views, starting with the negative. Or should I do that? Let's see. Yeah, Joe Biden. Let's start with the positive of Joe Biden. I like that he's talking about moving us away from fossil fuels and fracking. I think these are really good signs, and I agree with that. We'll talk more about how Trump's up, what he's up to with that. Kind of a mixed message. I guess on abortion, Biden is very interesting as well. I've had to really toss and turn. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it, but I've changed my mind, we'll say, on many different issues in the last year or two as I've seen different factors and different information and different plans, we'll say. Abortion has always been a little interesting to me, and there's a lot of complexity to that, of course. I can't see telling a woman what she can do with her own body, though. So in that sense, I'm pro-choice. On the other hand, who can be pro-abortion, right? Of course, I think we should do everything we can to help women that are having to make this decision, really clean up the whole adoption system so that's safe and efficient, make birth control, education, all these things have to come into play. I think Bill Clinton said once that abortion should be legal, safe but rare, something like that, and I think there's some truth to that. So those are about the only things really with Biden that I see that I probably agree with for the most part. What I disagree with Biden, well, he's been around for what, 47 years as a politician, I'm hearing. Boy, I don't know if anybody should be in politics that long unless they're doing something really impressive, and I'm not seeing that from him. I don't quite trust him. No, I don't trust him much at all. I don't feel a lot of honesty from him. Like I said, I've heard lies from both candidates, but I don't trust Joe Biden at all. I don't like the way he's talking about the peaceful protests. So I don't think the law and order thing doesn't seem to be in line there. He said Antifa is just an idea. Well, that idea is hurting a lot of people, so I am not in agreement with Antifa and what they're doing out there. Let's see, medical freedom is a biggie for me, freedom in general, but Biden has said that he would like to have mandatory masks and mandatory vaccines should be at least strongly considered. So those are big old, big no-nos for me. I'm not in agreement with that at all. Corruption. Sorry, I think my neighbor's doing some mowing or something out there. There's so many ties that Biden has to pedophilia, to communist China, and to corruption in general. So, in short, he's kind of like part of the swamp in many ways. So, taxes, I think taxes would go up. And the more I learn about taxes, I used to feel differently about it, but they're kind of illegal. They were started, apparently I was reading about the Rothschilds being behind the IRS, or still having some control over the IRS. Of course, it's pretty clear that Biden has some dementia issues that are getting worse. So this is a real factor, especially when you look at the vice president. Kamala Harris, I don't think she's very, A, likable, or B, trustworthy. I don't trust her at all. So I would not like to, I'd love to see a woman of color in office as president. Wouldn't that be cool? But it doesn't matter to me really anymore. It's the character of the person. I don't trust her. I don't feel good about her. Of course, socialism, the environment, the Green Deal. This Green Deal has all kinds of danger signs. So ordinarily it sounds good to me, Green Deal, but I don't like the way it's playing out. And then the socialism, I used to feel that I was more of a far left progressive. I've been a progressive Democrat my entire life, and I've had to revisit that and look at all the 20 or 22 countries in the world that have really tried socialism, communism, and how they all failed miserably, and usually killing a good chunk of their own population. So I really am concerned about that. There seems to be a real a Marxist agenda when I'm seeing some of the stuff that's going on. So these are major concerns. But again, getting away from all label, I don't see too many things that I favor about Joe Biden. Trump, I'll start with the bad. He's so complex. It's hard to say just good or bad because he is really a complex person. So confusing. The environment, of course, and the deregulation concern me. We have to look at it in a couple ways, though. I don't like the way he keeps talking of fracking and coal and oil, but he is looking at a short and long term. Short term, I think he knows this stuff. Long term, I think he's going to get us into free energy, right beyond solar and wind and all that stuff, right into the good stuff. He knows about some of the free energy that's available, the 0 point and all that. He is working behind the scenes, I've heard over and over. So on one hand, it looks really bad, but I'm hopeful. He has said he supports torture in some cases, and I'm just against torture in any case. I just think that's ridiculous. Abortion, he's against abortion. Like I said, I find it too complex, and I can't tell a woman what to do with her body, of course. Vaccines is complex again. What he says I don't like about Operation Warp Speed and getting the military involved, all these things. The good side is he has said he does not want to make a vaccine mandatory. He'd make it available. But I think he's saying one thing politically, and I think he's not going to go that route. I think he's looking towards therapeutics, is that what they call them? More natural aids, although I'm not satisfied with the way he's handled that. I wish he could have said more about, I wish Fauci, everybody would have said more about how we have such capable bodies and immune systems. So anyway, that's getting off topic a little bit. He's deeply unprincipled in many ways and deeply principled in some ways. Again, he's very complex. So kind of a negative, but we'll see where it goes. He can be very divisive and polarizing, as many of us know. But at the same time, I'll mention some of the good side of what he's doing with peace accords and all that. Can be very narcissistic. He certainly loves attention and all that, no doubt about it. I don't believe he's racist or sexist. If he ever was, he may have been when he was younger. I think that's more of a media thing, political thing. I've been watching him carefully and seeing how he acts with people, seeing how women and people of color often really, really respect him, and some of the policies he's done. So the bad I'm seeing about Trump, some are bad, but some are vague and unclear, and we'll see if he gets a mandate where he goes in the next 4 years if he wins. The good about Trump, like I said, the environment's a mixed bag, but I do think he's moving us towards 0 point and real free, clean energy. Climate change, this is a very controversial one. Some of you will hate me for this, but he knows about the truth about climate change. There's real science and there's bunko science, and yes, there is climate change. It's not exactly the way they're playing it. There is a big new world order agenda that wants to steer people in certain opinions and directions, and I'm not going to get into that right here. He's not gotten us into new wars, and I like that he talks with his enemies. This is the complex part, one of the many complex parts of Donald Trump, right? Divisive, polarizing in one sense, and he believes in talking to enemies, and he gets attacked by that, talking to Putin and the Korean leader whose name I can't pronounce. But meanwhile, there hasn't been any problems, really. There hasn't been any wars, and he's bringing a lot of troops home. So it's kind of interesting. Nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes and 3 or 4 peace accords that he signed. These are big deals. These are big deals. If it was anybody but Trump, that you'd be hearing really good things about it, like Obama getting a Nobel Peace Prize for doing less in that sense. He's working towards nationalizing the Fed. The whole central bank system is a bankster system. Rothschilds have been behind that, and he's trying to clean that up. He knows how important that is. He's worked against sex trafficking, 9 executive orders, arrested many, and will arrest many, many more if he gets elected this time. He's got tremendous courage, more than people realize. He's been perhaps the most hated person on the planet since Hitler, attacked in so many ways, and there's been at least 3 attempts on his life that the mainstream media has not mentioned. So he's a tough son of a gun. The economy has done real well until the COVID thing, including for people of color. Again, the mainstream won't talk about that. I like that he's for law and order. I think until we have a more conscious world, we do need police. They're imperfect, of course, not as bad as Antifa and BLM are saying. Of course, we can clean it up more, but I think most of them do a pretty darn good job. Gun rights, I can't believe I changed my view on this one, but the more you learn, right? I learned about the deep state plan, how hideous and deep it is, New World Order agenda. And I realized that countries that gave up their guns were more vulnerable. So I don't like guns. I think it's messy, but I'm actually for the Second Amendment. So I like that Trump wants freedom of the press. There's just crazy stuff going on. It is a fake media, the mainstream. It's working for the cabal, and I like that he's standing up against that. The big tech censorship right now is off the charts. I like that he's not a politician, really. He's not, and this is one of the reasons the cabal hates him and can't control him. So let me just sum it up like this to finish, is that the main thing, aside from all these little things I mentioned, the reasons if you asked me this a year or 2 ago, I would have said there's no way in the world that I'd be voting for Trump, but I am voting for Donald Trump. My first Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like the labels. I don't like the whole system. But there's something biblical going on here. It is not red versus blue. It is good versus evil. And I'm not saying Biden's evil and Trump is good. There are many shades of gray in both these men, of course, and the whole system. Many shades of gray in each of us. But there is a divine little plan here, I would call it. And Trump is a part of it. Our country is a big part of this. If the U.S. does fall, as some want it to do, there would be a real domino thing going on around this planet. This is a global event, as you know, with COVID, etc. But there is a big plan to usher us into this whole reset, this new world order, get us under one corrupt leadership. And it's got some creepy, technocratic, transhumanist AI agendas behind it. and all kinds of stuff. So I'm voting for Trump. I think he's going to help clean up the swamp. I think he's working hard on it, and that's why they are attacking him on all levels. There's satanic aspects, there's pedophilia, lots of ugly stuff, and it's coming out right now with Joe Biden's part in some of that. I hate to say, of course, they're trying again to align it with some kind of Russian thing. It's not true. I've looked at this too many times. So, again, that's my 2 cents worth. Again, it's not about the person we vote for. It's more our energy and moving out of fear and deciding that we are going to create something big and beautiful and move out of this old system where a bunch of sheep argue about who's going to eat them for dinner. So, thank you all. Blessings. Keep the faith. I'm Roy Holman.